well, you can only hear me. No, but I mean, basically, he's kind of, when you say country, what Joe would refer to it as. I mean, you can check it out, obviously, on the interview I did on my blog, but he calls it psycho country, which I love. Well, coming from the metal scene, I mean, let's face it, heavy metal, it's a contrast, but it's just fun. Well, I just think it's really fantastic. It's great.
And I know I totally agree with that. Like I said, there's a little bit, but not enough to make me say, all right, forget it, I can't listen to this anymore, because like I'll never hide it, but I can't do country. I really can't.
No, well, I can understand. I mean, there's some aspects, but I just think Joe's stuff, calling it, psycho country is right.
Yeah,
it's brilliant. Then live, I mean, if you can get to a live gig, obviously for you, I know being in Canada, it's not so straightforward. Although saying that, he did tour Canada. He did go to Canada.
Oh, really?
So, interesting. And I'm sure, he may very well go back. So, I don't know, maybe it isn't so, something, you could catch him at some point. Well, so I don't know, what's the live gigging scene like in Canada anyway?
It's decent. It just depends on where you are. I mean, they more or less hit the major metropolitan cities, which is fine, because London's not a huge city, but Toronto is, and Toronto's like an hour drive away, and I go to see a lot of shows there because, I mean, just recently, the past years, we've got more big bands coming to London, because what we have is like it's a small venue. There's like, it fits like maybe like 15 to 20,000, if that.
Right. Okay.
So, but you go to Toronto, then you go to their hockey arena, and then there's like pretty much double, almost triple the amount of people in there. So, chances are they'll be playing Toronto, which is fine, and it's, like I said, it's a short drive, so it'll be well worth the drive, and I've done it many times. As long as the traffic can be down there, it's worth it.
Yeah, oh, definitely, for live gigs, fantastic.
But
have you got news about your interviews and things?
Yeah, actually, I had another slew of good interviews this week. A lot of fun, and the one last night I think I was the most happy with. It was a band called the Revel 9, and they're out of New York, and I talked to their singer. He goes under the name of DJ Perlman, and man, it was so much fun. I think for once, I actually barely did any talking, which is
unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll say very unusual, but it was awesome because this guy was just so pumped and just like just so excited to be on the show, and it made things very interesting. And there's a lot of background because he's been in the business a number of years. Like their band obviously didn't win a Grammy, but they got nominated in a couple categories for the 54th annual Grammy Awards, which is awesome.
Wow.
Because even if you don't win, it's on your repertoire, so it always looks really good. And
fantastic.
And this guy, like, he was very, very informative and gave me a lot of different insight that I've never even really thought of before. So that's what made it so interesting. Such as he was saying stuff like, it's almost like you have to become famous before you can actually, do a decent job with what you're doing, with what you want to do. And he says, I love him and his bandmates talk before. I said, no, we should have been Disney stars, and made it big that way. Then gone to that. So it was really very interesting. So, and then on this past Tuesday, I had Mr. Susan, the Mr. Susan band.
I saw that. I haven't listened to it yet.
Out of the UK, they're kind of a mix of a kind of punk, prog rock, and they're
fantastic.
They're cool. They're a fun bunch of guys, but. We're kind of a few of them are a bit of weirdos, but in a good way.
You're not supposed to say that, are you?
No, but no, this is a good thing. This is a compliment. This isn't a bad. This isn't a slight towards them at all. I mean, this is fun stuff. So, and that, so it's been a pretty busy week, and then because yesterday was Rebel 9, and then tomorrow I'm looking very forward to, because I'll be having Analog Wave on at 8 p.m. in the UK.
Fantastic.
For the new album.
Did a great review of that as well.
Yeah, for their new album Kashmir.
So I've pre-ordered my album. Sure.
I've got one on the way too, so I'm very excited because in my mind, I'm a huge fan, and in many ways I'm supposed to be impartial, but like from their first album that they did all themselves, literally all themselves, no funding, no nothing. It was just a feat in itself, and it was a really good album. They got a lot of acclaim for it, and now this one was crowdfunded, and this just kind of blew that one right out of the water. It's just absolutely unreal. The amount of work it's really one of those things that you'd want to sit and listen to a few times all the way through to kind of absorb all that's contained within this music and within this album. So. I'm
excited to actually hold the CD in my hand. I mean, I still, I know everybody downloads, but it's not quite the same. I think it's really nice if you've got that CD. So that's what I'm looking forward to when it comes to the post.
And two more things on one's from last week. I was a band called Kodachrome out of Brooklyn, New York, and they were kind enough to send me a vinyl of their other album mail, which was amazing. I was so excited. I was like, as soon as I got it, I went right down my record player and just cranked it up. This is awesome listening to it. So, and I was talking
it's
to...
so old school, but it's lush, isn't it? It's lovely.
I love my vinyl, and she kind of gave me a bit more clarity on the album itself. It's called Aftermath, and it's just two people. It's Alyssa and Ryan. And I was talking to Alyssa this time around, and Alyssa was saying that the way it was kind of laid out, it was made obviously for the CD format, but also the vinyl format, meaning there were the break in the middle of the album before you flip the record over. Kind of was done to the point where, you know, it kind of gives you that little bit of time to think and absorb the first half, and it kind of it's got that nice continuation. And it kind of brings it to a different level. So it's very, very excited, very appreciative of that. So it was. It's been a very good 2 weeks, and there's a few more I'm lining up. Nothing has been set in stone yet, but we're looking at a couple more interviews next week with a really good artist I love from the UK, and his name is Lord Numb.
Right.
And the other one is a new band called the Indos, and their management actually is Diane Sherwood, who manages the Bedroom Hour as well.
Oh, right, okay, cool.
So this is one of her new bands that she's managing, and they're obviously different from the Bedroom Hours sound, so I'm trying to line stuff up for that, and I will be playing one of their songs on Music Saturday this Saturday. And one more thing.
I was actually going to interrupt you there, because I've got very exciting things, so can I talk about that?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, basically, I'm really intrigued by the new project that Mr. Peeps, the Low Flying Geese, and JB Barrington are involved with. It's basically, they've got a trailer out, which you need to check out. So you need to go on to Mr. Peeps Says, his timeline, and you'll be able to get sort of links to, you know, sort of this thing on YouTube. But basically, what's going to say, I mean, recently I went to the Cheese and Grain, and I was lucky enough to see John Cooper Clarke, the poet John Cooper Clarke, and Mike Garry, and that was an absolute blast of an evening. It was incredible. So they're actually on, you know, this sort of film that they're trying to make, but what they need is funding. So they're basically, they want to finish it this year, but they're looking for backers to kind of, you know, step up. And I know they've been in talks with Crowdfunder. Ironically, you were talking about Crowdfunder as well. But you were talking about punk, and what it's about is the James Coburn and the Rum Bastards. But they were formed in Strange Ways prison, and it's just basically, you know, I mean, I love the punk era, so for me it's an absolute must. And you can find it on YouTube, but I was going to say the Twitter sort of names are at Mr. Peeps Says and at Low Geese. And as I say, if anybody's interested in backing or supporting it, then go for it, because they're up for anybody that's willing to be involved, really. But there's a lot of big names involved with the whole thing. So you've got people like Bez, John Robb, Sean Ryder, the Backhanders, are just to name a few, that are actually involved with this project. So it's very exciting, and I think it's something people should get on board with to help pull it off.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, with Mr. Peeps, I've been following for a while, and I've been reading his stuff, and I'm would be very excited to see this, especially like if it's the old school punk rock era, because I mean you can't go wrong. I mean, with like bands like the Sex Pistols and the Clash, and you know, there's just a lot of good bands out there. So I'm looking forward to that, because the last, I guess, called punk movie I saw, it was not necessarily indie, because Sonic Youth and Nirvana and stuff like that, but it was called The Year Punk Broke. So you know, this is going to be even cooler, because that was kind of more like kind of late 80s and 90s and upwards, and this is kind of going backwards, which is more like what I really want to know about.
Yeah. Well, I think, I mean, to look at the trailer anyway, which is say you can get on YouTube, JB Barrington does a poem sort of at the beginning, which is great to hear. And I mean, I so admire, being a poet, I so admire these guys that can just get up and read their poetry. And for me, obviously, reading it on your show is the first time I've ever really read my poetry. But I'd love to have sort of gain the confidence to do what they do, because they really are fantastic. I mean, they're just, inspirational for me anyway. I think they're great.
Yeah, it's not as easy to get up on stage and start speaking as many people would think. I mean, myself personally, I've before the show, no, I did all like when I was, we'll call my younger days, I had friends in bands, sort of thing, so I got used to being on stage a lot and speaking in front of people. And of course, as everybody knows, I love to talk. So, but the first few times, yeah, it's really hard, and some of the helpful hints people give you, like, it's not always the best thing in the world. Sometimes it can backfire on you.
I mean, I've done a bit of acting.
Oh, hello.
But, sorry, my phone's ringing. Sorry. That's typical, isn't it? Jesus, the live show. Yeah, I've done a bit of acting before, but that was kind of by coercion. But I mean, I used to be a sort of teacher as well, and teaching's a bit weird, because you that's like acting all the time, because you are almost on stage because you're conducting the class, but it is sort of nerve-wracking. So I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping my confidence would develop, but I mean, honestly, the way they sort of handle the crowd and just sort of wheel off these amazing poems, as I say, Mike Gary, John Cooper Clarke, who was the sort of first, and JB Barrington. I mean, I'd love to catch JB Barrington live, because it is inspirational and it's just fantastic to see. They're great, great to go live to. Right. I saw you wiping your nose there. Is it getting to you? You're cold.
Oh. See, this is why I try to hide the fact I'm sick. Oh, you're sick. Can I help you? No, I'm not broken and I'm not bleeding on the floor. I'm all right. I'm sick. I'm not broken, right? So.
Well, that's good then.
No, that's.
So, are you going to put the next song on then?
Yes, I am. Just about to get to that. I'm just waiting till you're done talking, or at least i.e. me, because I talk way too much. So. Let's get to the next song by Joe Burt. This is Paranoid.
I finished with my woman, 'cause she couldn't help me with my mind. People think I'm insane because I am frowning all the time. All day long I think of things, but nothing seems to satisfy. I think I lose my mind if I don't find something to pacify. Can you help me? Occupy my brain. Can you help me? Can you help me occupy my brain? I need someone to show me the things in life that I can't find. I can see the things that make true happiness. I must be blind. Make a joke and I will sigh. You will laugh and I will cry. Happiness I cannot feel, and love to me is so unreal. Can you help me? Occupy my brain. Can you help me? Can you help me occupy my brain? Telling you now how of my state, I tell you to enjoy life. I wish I could, but it's too late. help me occupy my brain.